are two major ways you can fund a business. Okay, the first thing is either by raising funds. Okay, and secondly, by bootstrapping. So I want to give you the understanding of the difference between these two and what factors you should consider when selecting which of these paths to go. That is, whether to raise funds from external areas or whether you should bootstrap. That is from your own internal decisions. That is your own internal finance. Okay, so the first thing, which is bootstrapping. All right, that is the first thing I'm going to explain to you. So bootstrapping basically means growing a business using your own capital. That is your business fund, or reinvesting your profit as you make them. Okay, that is what bootstrapping basically is. Bootstrapping, you're not getting money from investors, from banks, from the likes. No, you are running your business diligently. Okay, while you are making money, you are using that profit, you are reinvesting it back into the business. But the second one, which is raising funds, you can either raise funds from investors or you get it as a loan from financial institutions. So raising funds in this case basically means bringing external funds into your business. That is getting money from the outside, whether from investors or from loans, bringing it into your business to help you carry on whatever thing you need done with funds. So these are the two ways. Either you bootstrap it, that is from your own internal funds, or you get external capital from the outside. There are advantages to whichever one you select. Okay, for instance, the advantages of having to bootstrap, I'm going to tell them to you. The first thing is you have full control. Okay, that is, you are not sharing your business with any other person. Okay, no investor, that is no bank or no other person out there is telling you how to run your business. Okay, you have full control, because if you get money from banks in some cases, or you get money from an investor, they will also have some say in how you make your decisions. Okay, you can't just decide because their money is also involved. So advantages of bootstrapping: full control. The second thing is lean operation. This forces you to be disciplined with your finances. Okay, so your operations are lean. You are not bringing in too many people when it's not necessary. The third advantage is you become focused on profit. Okay, that is, you survive by making sure you make revenue and not just by making promises. Okay, you make sure, because you're not getting funds from any other way. You have to make money within your business. So you are always focused on profit, because having profit is what ensures you can reinvest into the business. Okay, the last thing is ownership is preserved. You are not sharing ownership with anybody. If you're to get external funds, for instance, you get to a venture capital or a VC capital fund, you're going to share equity with them. A lot of these VC funds or private equity organizations will collect a percentage of whatever business you're running for the sake of the capital they are bringing in. All right, so that is bootstrapping, and that is an advantage. Of course, there are cons. Okay, there are disadvantages to actually having bootstrapping as your own part. I'm going to tell you some of those disadvantages. One, slower growth. Okay, you're not growing as fast as people that bring in capital from the outside. Okay, because you are trying to reinvest the capital you have internally, or your profit. Okay, profit might be slow to come. You have to always wait before you can grow. All right, so your growth is a bit slower than if you were bringing in capital. The second thing is, of course, missed opportunities. Okay, there are some opportunities that just come at you. If you don't have capital, of course, you're going to miss them. Okay, if you're not going the VC route, if you're not going to the investor route or the loan route. Okay, the third thing is cash flow struggle. All right, you might be struggling to get cash flow. Okay, because the little profit you're having, you also need to be reinvesting it and to use it to carry on, your day-to-day activities too. So this might cause some little cash flow troubles for you. All right, so these are the cons, these are the disadvantages of bootstrapping. All right, so the next one, which is the advantage of getting money from the outside. The first thing is speed. Okay, capital allows faster scaling, marketing, hiring. Okay, you can't be able to showcase your product to massive amount of people because you have capital. Okay, a lot of issues with certain businesses that are not being able to make sales is as a result of slow marketing. Okay, they do not have the budget, the capital to carry on massive global marketing. Okay, but with you having to get money from the outside, this enables you, carry on faster marketing and the like. So the next thing is access to investor networks. Okay, some of these investors that are coming into your business, they have their own people that they know already. Okay, they have their own networks, they have their own expertise, they are credible within themselves. Okay, they have their own skills and abilities that they can lend to your business as a result of them investing in that business. All right. The next thing is ability to compete in capital-intensive industries. Okay, for instance, manufacturing. Okay, manufacturing is a capital-intensive industry. If you want to start manufacturing shoes, or manufacturing, whatever it is you want to manufacture, you need capital for equipment, for machineries, for factory and some of those things. So bringing in money from the outside can enable you to surmount some of these capital needs. All right, the next thing is risk is shared with your investors. You are not carrying on the risk alone. You are not the only person investing now. Okay, for when that business fails, if at all, God forbid, if at all it fails, you are not the only person that is going down, because the risk is shared. All right, the amount of capital you have in your business is all you're going to lose. All right, you're not losing way beyond that. So risk is shared with your investors. Okay, you are both carrying on the risk together of doing that business because their money is involved too. All right, so they have also shared in the risk. If at all they were not coming in, you would have been the only person taking on that risk. Okay, so if you are putting $1 million in something, you are taking on the risk of losing that $1 million. But if you are putting $200,000 of your own and getting $800,000 from external funds, that is reasonable enough. Okay, you have spread the risk between yourself and the investor. So that is one advantage. The disadvantage of this is you might lose control. Okay, any decision you want to take, as at when you were alone in the business, you now have to always share information with your investors before you decide. Okay, you can't just wake up one day and make a decision to do something. No. Okay, because your money is not the only money operating in that business. So you might lose total control. The next thing is your investor pressures. Investors might pressure you. Depending on the kind of agreement that exists between yourself and the investors, they might begin to pressure you. Maybe the agreement span is about 2 years to revenue or 2 years to ROI, and the pressure that comes with that can be massive. Okay, so this is one of the disadvantages. The next thing is equity dilution. Okay, I've said this before, you might lose a part of your equity. Okay, for when you are running the business alone, you are the one bringing in the money, raising your profits internally and, reinvesting it. That equity is yours alone. 100% of the business is yours. But for when you get outside investors to come into your business, they might take a part of that equity. Okay, like I said, depending on the arrangement you have with them. Okay, so these are the things, these are the considerations. So let me tell you the key decision factors, what you need to consider before you select the path you want to go. All right, for major businesses, you might need to go these two paths at every point in your life. Okay, in some cases, you might go the bootstrapping route or you go the investor route. Okay, so these are the factors that will determine as at when you need to go, whether the investor route or the bootstrapping route. The first thing is how much capital does your business need to survive and to scale. Okay, you need to identify that. Okay, and how long it's going to take you if you were to bootstrap. Okay, you also need to identify the opportunity cost of that. Okay, for when you lose an opportunity because you are lagging of capital, what is the opportunity? What is the amount of money? What is the revenue you will have made if you had gone the other route? You need to have this consideration. So identify how much capital you need for your business model to survive and to scale. The second thing is, how comfortable are you sharing control and decision making in your business? If you're someone that likes to have total control of your business, going the investor route might not be a beneficial route for you, okay, because you like having control. You don't like sharing control or decision making. You don't want to be asking somebody before you make decision in your business. Okay, if you don't want that, you need to consider going the bootstrapping route. Next thing is, can you generate revenue to sustain your business yourself? Okay, the revenue you're generating in the business presently, is it enough to self-sustain? If it's enough, then you do not need to go the external route. If it's not enough, okay, and you are seeing opportunities you might need to take on, it might be reasonable to go the external route. The fourth thing is, do you need speed to enable you beat your competition? Okay, or to enable you gain more market share? Okay, if you are operating within an industry, the market is limited. So depending on how fast you are to carry on certain things will determine or might determine the amount of share you would have. So you need to identify this within your industry. Is that the happening? Is that the reality of your own industry? If that is the reality, you might need to consider going the investor route. All right. So the last thing is, what is your end game? What exactly is the end of everything you're doing? That business you're running, what is the ultimate vision of it? Okay, is the vision, the ultimate vision, just for lifestyle changes? You just want to have a kind of lifestyle, that business is going to be funding? Or are you looking to actually have a legacy business? You want to build a legacy organization that you can leave for your own grandkids, for your own kids and their grandkids? What exactly are you doing? Or are you just building a global unicorn? Is that what you're trying to do? Okay, are you trying to go global? You want to become a unicorn, that a PLC, a public limited organization that is global. Okay, if that is what you're looking at, this will also determine the route you need to consider when you're trying to raise finance. Okay, so bootstrapping or raising external funds, these are your considerations. Okay, I've given you the advantages and the disadvantages of each, and I've given you the decision factors for this. All right, so if you're a business owner, if you're starting a business, if you're looking to start up a business, you need to consider this. If you've started and you're looking to raise capital, you need to consider this. All right, I hope this information helps you. Cheers.